Hello. Good afternoon. Okay, so I have cranberry sauce. Let's go ahead and get a spoon in here so you can actually see it. So it does. Anyway, so it's, right now I'm just letting it cool on my counter. I had shown a video of my buying the cranberries. And this was the brand. It just was one little baggie of fresh cranberries that you can get at this time of year for relatively pretty cheap in your grocery store. So what I do is I take a, well, it's not quite clean. Actually, I haven't washed it yet, but I can show you the size of pan I use. So it's not clean, but I did rinse it off. So just a little saucepan. Ugh, I got my anyway, so what you do is you put your cranberries in there after you inspect your cranberries and make sure none of them are like grossly rotten or whatever. People generally like to, I can't remember if they sink or if they float. You don't take them, but I generally don't go that far because I kind of have the mindset of if it don't kill me or it hasn't killed me yet, it's not going to. Kind of, I don't know, that may come back to get me someday. And yes, I've had food poisoning, but those were all food poisonings from restaurants. So, but anyway, so then what I do is I just dump the bag in the sauce pot I just showed you. And, you know, like I said, I inspect them, make sure there's no leaves, no stems, you know, make sure there's no rotten looking ones, or like if the bag looked bad or whatever. I usually look before I buy them anyway. But anyway, so then I turn my burner on high. This does work if these are frozen as well. When I came home from the grocery store after I had bought these, I had put them in my freezer. So these were solid. These were solid frozen. So it does work if they are frozen. And I don't do anything special. I just take the bag of cranberries just like how they come in at the store, and I just put them in my freezer. I don't put them in anything special. I just plop them in my freezer until I want to make some cranberry sauce. So then I grab a cup of hot water. Well, or just water. It doesn't need to be hot. I just measure out a cup of water, and I put that in the hot saucepan while I've already put the heat on high for it. So, and then I do about a third of a cup or a fourth of a cup, and somewhere in that range. I'm not usually very picky. I even just use the same measuring cup I use to pour the water. So anyway, I just measure about a third of a cup, nowhere near a half, or like generally there's a recipe on the back of here. Yeah, see how on here it says, oh, they say a third of a cup of water. Whoops, I do I did a full cup. But look at how much it says to do for sugar. 1.5 cups of sugar. Hell fucking no. So I don't know. I guess I could reduce the amount of water I use. I've always just used a cup of water. Maybe since these say to use a third of a, since they do say to use a third of a cup, maybe I'll try a third of a, or three-fourths of a cup of water next time. But as you can tell, cup makes it, they're not like overly runny. I mean, they're exactly what you would think cranberry sauce would be like. So anyway, and then I just add that, and then you just stir it occasionally. You don't even have to stir it a bunch. And you'll just start hearing them pop. See how, let's see if I can show. See how they're popped open? Come on. Let's see. Is this a better? Well, anyway, they pop open, and then they release all this sticky, the thickening stuff in that's, you know, whatever. But anyway, so that's all I do. And then once they're all mostly popped and it looks like the stuff is going to start foaming, you know, because after it gets a certain point, it just starts foaming, and if you let it go, it'll probably make candy or burn or something. But I never let it get that far. So then I just turn off the heat and move the saucepan off the burner and let it cool for about 5 minutes just on the stove in the saucepan. And then I get out my, you can use whatever container. I just happen to use this one that has pretty flowers on it. Came with the husband. Well, actually, the boyfriend at the time, but husband now. But anyway, yeah, so that's all I do is now that they're almost cool to the touch, I'm going to go ahead and put them in the fridge. I can't remember where I had seen a recipe where you just, after you make them, you let them get down to room temperature and then you put them in the fridge. I don't know why I do that. I just do. So I'll have to get my lid and then I'll put them in the fridge, and then nobody in the family will eat this. This is when I only add 1/4 cup. This will make tart cranberries. So this is going to be tart cranberry sauce. If you do not like a like bitter, like tart, very tart flavored cranberries, you are not going to like this sauce. My family will not eat this. I think maybe one of my kids will, but as soon as I started making my own cranberry, which by the way is super easy, you should all be making it instead of, like I used to get the kind in the jelly kind that, when you take it out of the can, it looks just like the can. I used to love that stuff until I learned to make my own. I didn't have a mother growing up to show me how to cook, so I've had to learn how to cook on my own. So, if there wasn't YouTube around, I'd probably still be making hamburger and tuna helper for my family, which probably didn't help me get any thinner. So I'm super glad YouTube is around where I can share my recipes that I think I may have gotten this recipe from someone on YouTube too. I may not have. I may even got it from I like this old recipe place on the internet that I have been looking at for years. It's like an online cookbook, and it's called cooks.com. That's the one I used to like heavily do a lot of my recipes from. I don't even know if it's still an active thing, but all the recipes are still there. So yeah, anyway, so like that may have been where I got it from, or I may have even watched a video. I have no idea. But if you don't like tart cranberries, by all means, follow the recipe on here and you'll get really sugary ones. But I like cranberries like this. So this is how I like to make them. I like cranberries. There's not enough cranberry muffins in the world because I love cranberries. This is my favorite time of year because everybody's having cranberries. Oh, speaking of cranberries, I took my kids out to eat at Baker Square the other day because my daughter had asked, and I didn't really have any meal plan for that day. So I know, I'm still working on the whole going to zero carb thing. Obviously, I think this is a no-no to have too. Well, it says berries are okay, so I don't know if cranberry is an okay one to have. But, of course, I put sugar in it, so now it has carbs. But, anyway, I had it was like turkey breast over stuffing, and there was a side of green beans and potatoes, roasted potatoes with sweet potatoes in it. And it was supposed to have cranberry, and it didn't come with cranberry. My daughter ordered a BLT with no tomato. Her thing came with tomato. Her salad came with tomato. Her house salad still had tomato in it and cucumber. And those are all things that we told the waitress that she didn't want on hers. And, well, I just didn't get my one ingredient. But you know what? I still ended up tipping her a 25% tip or whatever. Yeah. So, I don't need to take it out on the waitress because somebody else didn't check the food before it went out to the person. So, but anyway, that was way off topic. So, yeah, you got a little side thing. So, anyway, I'm going to, now that this is cool, so next time I make this, I think I will try the 3/4 of a cup of water instead of 1 cup. Although see all this extra juice down here? I like all this. Whoops, as I make a mess. See, I like all that, and that's really good. But anyway, yeah, I just figured I'd just make this video because what else do I have, might as well video my mundane life. I'm just a housewife, boring life. What am I going to do video next? Video myself driving to my kid's school? No, although I could, because my goodness, there are some terrible people that drive on the highway, man. Woo! And I have a dash cam, so if I were to do that, I would definitely do it from the dash cam video and not my phone, because that's not safe unless I'm the passenger. But if I'm driving, I'm obviously not the passenger. But anyway, okay, so I talked a whole 10 minutes and 30 seconds about cranberry sauce. So I hope you enjoyed my afternoon, I guess I'm just going to call it afternoon chat. Okay, all right, you have a great rest of your afternoon. Bye.